So here in this question, all the set timeout would be called one after another, and I have to call function clearAllTimeout to clear all the set timeout at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to store every time set timeout is called. I'm going to store that in the an array called set timeout IDs. So I'm going to call it set timeout IDs, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to push all the IDs of all that set timeout function into this set timeout ID array, and then I'm going to pop, and then one by one I'm going to clear all the IDs from that array, and that's how clear all timeout function is going to work. So while set timeout ID, now I'm going to pop all of that. So and by popping that I will get the ID of that particular of that particular set timeout function, and now I'm going to clear it, clear timeout ID. So now that is how clear all timeout function is going to work. But now the question is how I'm going to push all of that IDs in the set timeout ID array. So to do that, I'm going to, every time set timeout function is called, I'm going to push that set timeout function's ID into this array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to have an array. I need a reference function. Let's call it original function, which will have the reference of set timeout, original set timeout, that would be from the window. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to monkey patch that this set timeout from the window. So and modify it in such a way that every time set timeout function is called, I'm going to push that ID of that particular set timeout into a set timeout ID array. So what I'm going to do is now set timeout window dot set timeout is equal to function set timeout, and it's going to have function and delay. Now I'm going to have an ID of, now I'm going to call the original function. So every time function is called, its ID would be stored in this particular ID, original function and delay. Now I'm going to push this ID in the set timeout ID array to push ID, and now I'm going to return this ID, and I think this should do. Let me submit it.